Hi, my name is Chris Schaffer, and I'll be walking you through our first assignment for dsc425 on time series. So first we were asked to come up with definitions and explain time series in our own words. My general definition of this would be a sequence of values that are recorded over specified intervals. Time is a parameter which always progresses in one direction. It is the independent variable. And values which depend on the time, or the dependent variables, can be whatever format, basically anything. They can be continuous, they can be discrete or categorical, and there are some examples listed there. We were then asked to find a couple of data sets that reflect this type of data. So the first one I found at UCI's machine learning webpage. They have a lot of different data sets archived and available to the public. So this one was kind of interesting. It is the appliance energy usage of a domestic house over time. Sampling occurred every 10 minutes from a variety of temperature and humidity sensors, as well as regional weather forecasts. And the sampling duration was for 4.5 months. So I didn't dive too deeply into this data set, but I imagine you will see some seasonal variation with appliance energy usage. Probably depends on what exactly the appliance does, too. The second data set I found a bit more interesting, and it was on web page traffic. This is a now expired Kaggle competition that was sponsored by Google and some other companies. Uh, the training data had about 145,000 websites, so each one of those was an entry, and the values were the number of visits per day. The data is quite large. It spans over 550 days and is around 2 gigabytes just for the training file. There is a quote from the competition itself reiterating that multivariate time series problems are very difficult, especially when you include things like text. So in this case, if we go on to the next page, you can see that the page name for a given site is one of the variables that you can reference. So you're mixing multivariate data, time series, and text information, which I have to imagine would be a very difficult challenge. So then we were asked to come up with a real-world example of a company using this. I chose instead of, or in lieu of an actual business, I chose a research organization, LIGO. That is the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. And there's actually two locations in the U.S. The nature of what they're measuring necessitates having two locations in order to get good spatial resolution on where your source comes from. But long and the short, they operate these land observatories to detect gravitational waves with lasers, laser interferometers, obviously. And here's an example of the data set that they produced. This was actually the data showing evidence of the first black hole merger ever recorded. Um, so space here is shown to oscillate over time, and those are those fun waves we see there. And as far as I'm aware, it was a very good match to the theoretical basis behind it, which is always a win for science. So yeah, obviously they do a lot of analysis of variance over time, autocorrelation, things like that to find these very important signals amongst a bunch of noise. So the amount of time series processing they do is probably pretty heavy and a little more scientific than, a business. All right, that's all I had for this assignment. Thanks again. My name is Chris Schaefer, and I'll talk to you guys later.